Hello, my dear audiences. Welcome to the show, Jack Zhao on East West with G&E TV. For weeks in a row, the subject of Donald Sterling's racial comment, racial remarks, has been a point of focus to everybody of you. Lately, it has been developed into some kind of a character of rather entertainment, I would say. So there's lots of laugh about it, there's lots of joking around about it. And as to the legal issue, as to the consequences, as to the ramification of it, or you call it definition, whatever, I call it ramification of it, of the event though, there are lots of points to check, to be pinpointed, right? Joining me in the research, I call it research, is Dr. Fu, Peter Fu. Welcome, Peter, to the show.
Thank you, Jack. Glad to be here every time.
All right. Every time you're here, I'm so glad.
Oh, well, we're hometown friends also, all from Dalian, right?
We're hometown friends.
Yeah, hometown friends.
Exactly. I know you always take different views or deeper views rather than on the shallow, on the surface. So what is your general take about the incident, about the Donald Sterling incident and the taping, the exposure, and the talks after that, ever after, on, and also looks that the more Donald talks, the more trouble is he in, right there. So what's your overall view?
Well, first, I think the reason that everybody is fascinated with this particular issue is the combination of, say, racism, money, sports, secret taping, and also estranged marriage. So any of these topics would be, entertainment topic and interesting when you combine them all together. It is a fascinating topic, and people are definitely interested. There's a lot of details still being discovered and talked about.
All right.
But there's a lot of aspect, from your point of view, my point of view, we're going to look at it slightly differently. Why and how? How can a society deal with this particular issue? What is the public, what is the private? I think this is the situation that we can talk a little bit broader and deeper so that people can probably learn something and make the society to be more of a harmonic.
As a matter of fact, the reason, to my audience, the reason I invited Peter to come back here is to find out the more profound level of the issue so that it can be a piece of education our audience can learn from, at least something positive, right? Okay, now, let's come down to the very point, to the very starting point though, motivation, about the motives, right? The motivation of, number one, the motivation of the remarks made by himself, and the motivation about recording, and the motivation of the exposure, right? So what's your comment about the three motivations?
Well, first, what Mr. Donald Sterling said is obvious a racist remarks.
Oh, yes, of course, yeah.
So you cannot just say that in the public without dealing with the consequences.
All right.
But when you look at the things deeper, first, this gentleman, Mr. Donald Sterling, he's 81 years old. So anyone go beyond certain ages, they have a possibility of dementia. To be honest with you, I look at some of his TV interviews and his facial expression, and so when you're 81 years old, I just think there's some kind of dementia, meaning lost some memory, and also the level of comprehension. The logical thinking may not be the same when he was like 40, 50 years old or 30 years old. Even his wife, Shelley, kind of indicated that she thinks that Mr. Donald Sterling has some kind of a dementia going, so we don't know. But again, that does not give anybody excuses to make racist remarks.
Of course.
As for the secret recording,
about his motivation, though, he really spoke his mind when he made that remarks. Can we confirm that?
Well, actually, he did not.
Racist mind.
I think the NBA commissioner, Mr. Adam Silver, from what the reports said, confronted with or talked with Mr. Donald Sterling. It looks like Mr. Donald Sterling did not deny that is his voice. So why did he say that? What situation provoked him to say that? In what circumstances? And this was recorded. As a matter of fact, nobody still knows who actually recorded it and how they obtained it. At this moment, it is still secret. Huh?
His mistress did.
Well, I didn't see any 100% confirmation that Miss Steele Viano did that. I don't know. I mean, from what we understood, it looks like a two-person conversation.
All right.
But then again, in this kind of a world, and nobody knows, and nobody admitted who actually recorded it, under what circumstances. And also the funny thing is that it looks like this recording happens in last year, September. And in March, Mr. Sterling's wife had a legal issue.
Filed a case.
Yeah, to Mr. Steve Viano. And then this was, the secret recording was exposed to TMZ in April 25th. Yeah. So there are so many things that yet to be discovered. So I think maybe 6 months from now, or 1 year from now on, the things will be a little bit different when you look at that from the very beginning.
When you look into the motivation of publicize it, right? You also look at the date of the publication. You will find that was after the wife of Sterling, Mrs. Sterling, filed the case, right? Meaning that this exposure of the tape could be a revenge to the case, to filing the case. Do you think so?
That's definitely a lot of people in their mind is thinking, what is the relationship? Both Mr. Sterling and Mr. Steve Viano said that their relationship is planetonic. But then again, how many people would give a regular friend a Ferrari and two Bentley,
four of them,
and also what is called a Range Rover, and plus other 1.8 millions of complexes and 250,000 cash. So those kind of common friends is not very common, to say at the least.
Nobody gave me that.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think this is just a very regular situation.
He said it himself. He said it himself. And he himself, I mean Mr. Donald Sterling, says that when I see this girl, I want to have sex with her, right? He said, I just want to have sex with her. Right?
That's what he said?
And,
Okay.
And then during a two-person conversation, when he has a mind of trying to have sex with her, he says, he wants to talk, convince her, she wants to talk about everything, right? And literally, he was saying that could be a moment out of mind for a person to be out of mind. Of course, that whole saying sounds to me too much hormone in it. Hormone, or testosterone, probably call it. All right.
Emotional.
No.
Moment.
Testosterone.
Okay.
Right. In it. Right. This guy, according to him, wants nothing but sex with her. And then, as revenge, what he says was recorded. Of course, what he said was 100% offended to me, right? To everybody, right? So, if you go into the whole thing, though, you don't think that's the first offense to this person. And as a matter of fact, he's been in and out, this kind of trouble all the time. Why would he pop up this time instead of ending early?
Well, I first, he's 81 years old, and he had previous issues, has been sued with some kind of a similar discrimination for his landlord position. But I just think that this is not a simple thing. There's looks like money has been exchanged, whether it's given as a gift, or given as just a best friend. Whether both of them denied that they're romantically involved,
or money for sex.
Well, you know what? Nobody knows. I mean, both of them denied that they had any romantic relationship at this moment. So,
they can say that, yes.
However, given the situation, that there are a lot of things that doesn't make any sense. For example, this guy worth more than $1.9 billion. So, for running that kind of entity, you usually have a very good team to manage the public relations, the images, but the fact that this was, the 2 weeks and without anybody saying anything or put any fire out is beyond anybody's imagination. It could be that he's having so much money that it created a bubble for himself that hinges his reasoning, thinking, logical thinking, among many others. You know what? In an interview with Anderson Cooper, he said, you know what? He made mistakes, and he made one mistakes in over so many years, and so there just seem to be very strange, very strange.
Could that, Peter, be a fact that this person has been something spoiled, right? By looking back into those 8 old cases, well, $1 million or $2 to shut up, or $1 million or $2 for this one to shut up. It goes on and on. For a person whose total worth is poor $1.9 billion, taking out of $1.5 million or 2 or 3 out of pocket means nothing, like $1 to me, right? So on and on, this person forms a habit into it. I can say anything. I can do whatever because I have money, right? Let's take a short moment now. When we come back, we'll look into the monetary point of view. Do you have the right to say anything else, even if you have the whole world, right? So stay with us.